What's up, everybody? What's up? LSUODYSSEY.COM here with you. New week, LSU facing Arkansas this Saturday night in Arkansas, at Arkansas. LSU won't be at home for the next little bit until that Alabama game coming up, I believe, what is it, the 9th, the 12th, something like that. But yes, LSU, following the win over Ole Miss, inside the top 10, LSU inside that playoff picture. The Tigers kind of doing a little bit of what we expected before the season, that this team would be a playoff team. And, it's not all sealed and signed and delivered yet, but it's looking like this team is building game by game by game, and they're figuring it out. The defense is extremely impressive. What they've done with this defense while dealing with Harold Perkins being out, Jacobian Guillory being out. If you were to tell people before the season you're going to lose those two guys, they would probably think this defense is going to be terrible, right? And instead, this defense has responded and been brilliant under Blake Baker, under Kevin Peoples, Bo Davis, Jake Olson with the safeties, and of course the return of Corey, the DBU Miyagi Raymond, coaching the defensive backs. So, for me, this is big for LSU. Of course, counted out, not a preseason favorite. No one really thinking of LSU as being a team that could make a run, as being a team that could be in the hunt. Well, they have completely proven that wrong. They have completely proven that they are right there in it. And Ole Miss, a team that was almost a consensus preseason favorite to get to the SEC championship game. They're already out of it with 2 losses. If they beat Georgia, if they go out undefeated, maybe they could squeak in with one of the lowest possible seeds, maybe. But Ole Miss, once again, so overrated. Once again, proven pretenders. Once again, put in their place. Okay. We move on from the Ole Miss game. That was fantastic theater. That is exactly what you wanted to see for a college football night, for a 100-year celebration in Tiger Stadium. And it wasn't just the ending. The whole game was incredible. The whole game. There's so many moments, so much drama. And that was what we got. So deserving. That crowd deserved that game. That crowd deserved that ending. That crowd deserved that finish, that victory. And they deserved to run out on that field and have a party, because all the people boo-hooing that, they're fools. We're bigger than rushing the field against Ole Miss. It's like, listen, it's almost like rubbing salt in the wounds to Ole Miss. Like, hey, you were overrated to begin with. Ha 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 ha. And also, you're literally turning Tiger Stadium into a nightclub. Okay, you got OBJ out there. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire out there. You got Justin Jefferson out there. You got Shaq. You've got all these celebrities, powerhouses. Livy Dunn, a drunk as fuck Paul Skeens. All the recruits that were there to see that environment and see how this is how we do. Like LSU might be out of it, but when you're playing in Death Valley, there's something that's just going to turn the screw, and you're going to be, if you're not playing for LSU, you're going to be on the wrong side of history every time. And it's just unbelievable the times we're living in as LSU fans, because these moments are so historical and so rare, but they're becoming, they're starting to become a little more frequent right now in the Brian Kelly era. These heart-wrenching, heart-shaking, heart-rattling games, the nerve-wracking games, they're starting to become more frequent. And that goes right into Arkansas, where LSU facing Arkansas this weekend. That's a team where LSU, it's been decided by 3 points the last however many seasons. Sam Pittman's team always gives us a game. These games are always bloodbaths in the trenches. These games are always physical, grinded out games. I mean, the last year's game was a little more offensive, of course, with our defense and our juggernaut offense. Even last year's game was one of the more rugged, hard-hitting, more, we didn't score 40 points on offense, like it was in like the mid-30s. Like, it was one of the more tempered offensive games, one of the more defensive, more hard-hitting games you saw all season, because that's just the nature of LSU Arkansas. So I would be very excited as a fan of defense like I am, and like probably you are, to see LSU's defense again in a kind of chess match battle. And let's see if Garrett Nussmeier can also like prop them up more than, because that defense had to bail LSU out of so many situations this last game. That cannot happen again against Arkansas. Arkansas, they're good enough to beat us. Okay? They're good enough to beat us. Let's just be honest here. LSU will have to squeak out of another close one here. And they're going to have to do it without their senior linebacker, West Weeks, who we broke this news yesterday and posted it on LSUODYSSEY.COM. West Weeks will be taking a red shirt for the rest of the 2024 season. But do not be alarmed. That does not mean that West Weeks, you won't see the rest of him in 2024. He has that ankle injury, and it's been screwing with his progress, his ability to get back in these games and compete, for a starting spot alongside his brother. That's just it hasn't been possible. He's just been too banged up. He hasn't been able to even get back into a game. He had a half TFL, had a few good plays, I think, against South Alabama, and then it was just like, nope, he's got to come off the field. And it's his senior year. It's his last chance. This was looking to be a dire situation for West. Like, he's running out of options. Like, the only way that this thing can continue and maybe West can have a shot to help his stock draft-wise is that his brother Witt plays like an animal and LSU keep winning games, and it adds further games to the schedule, an SEC title game, college football playoff contention, at least a couple more games to give him more opportunities to be on the field and show what he can do. Instead, LSU staff, and I've been told by one source confirmed this whole thing. One source confirmed another part of this story. Another source was the main tip-off. Brian Kelly had the idea, approached West and said, listen, I've got the perfect idea. You can still play in one regular season game if we redshirt you right now, because he's only played in 3 games. So West, and he might only be able to play in one regular season game anyway. Okay? Only play him in one regular season game. Okay? And I did not know this, but I was educated about this by someone who's extremely close to this situation. West taking the red shirt wouldn't be out if LSU went to the college football playoff, if LSU went to the SEC championship game. West would be eligible to play in those games, even with taking a red shirt. And I was like, what? Wow, I forgot about that. Oh my God, he would be. And it was like, okay, wow, this is almost like stealing a season. West is basically going to get a second shot at a senior year next year in 2025, alongside his brother, Greg Penn III, and most likely Harold Perkins will both be in the NFL. LSU will need West Weeks just as much as they'll need Witt Weeks next year. Okay. And West has looked great alongside his brother. His brother, when those two brothers are playing alongside each other, they up each other's game. And you've seen West looking good against the run. looking good in some pass cover situations. Hell, in 2021, West's freshman year, West Weeks had more pass breakups, 5, than Derek Stingley Jr. did in 2021. I know, Derek Stingley Jr. was injured after only a few games. He had more pass breakups than Eli Ricks, who played the whole season basically, more pass breakups than Cordell Flott, and as many as Dwight McLaughlin. So you're telling me, yes, West Weeks is most likely a miss for this season. It sucks that you can't have him this season for, as many games as we've missed him and as many games as he'll be out. At the same token, we get a chance to really steal something here where he gets one more regular season game. Most likely he's going to play against Alabama, you would think. Save him for Alabama. A bye week before that, all this time, he should be 100% for that game, right? If you win that game, you are in the SEC championship game. Boom. He gets another shot, SEC title game. And then if you win that game, or even if you lose that game, LSU second loss, still most likely a low seed in the College Football Playoff. You're going to see West Weeks at least one more time this season while taking a red shirt, getting basically a second bite at the senior apple. I think this is just brilliant. I think it's an unbelievable move by Brian Kelly. Huge importance with roster management, how we let the defensive line go to shit, and now we've been scrambling. And luckily, Bo Davis has made diamonds out of, pebbles. Like he has literally made that defensive line incredible through just pure coaching, pure will development. And so if you take that defensive line, that establishment, that bedrock, you take those edge guys. We'll be losing Savion and most likely Braden Swinson, but you got Deshaun Womack, Gabriel Relaford. Who am I forgetting here? There's so many names on this edge list that are just incredible. Who am I forgetting? You've got options there, is my point, and it's looking like you're even going to have further options. Ahmad Bro at DT. Dominic McKinley, who's already had a sack this season, had a huge fumble recovery from the weak strip right before halftime that got us a field goal. So these guys are getting chipping away at experience. And then you add these linebackers with that group, and you got Witt and West Weeks playing where they're basically in each other's pockets as brothers. There's this type of unspoken understanding. If you've ever played a sport with a brother, if you've ever been in a band with a brother, you would understand this. I've done both. Me and my brother played many sports together: football, soccer. My brother Eric, Jess was probably a bit too old for that to happen. But then Eric and I were also in a band together called Magnum Shift, kind of a classic rock 70s kind of guitar rock and roll kind of thing. And he basically, I was learning guitar, just teaching myself, just a book of chords, put your fingers here, and just kind of making some racket, trying to figure it out. We got a drum set, and Eric just learned the drums while I learned the guitar. And we basically just jammed together and just learned the instruments together. So when I play guitar, I kind of think of like a drummer almost. Like this is where the drums would go. When he would play drums, you kind of thinking of like guitar parts and stuff and how it would augment the guitar parts. We would be so in sync and so in each other's minds when we would be doing these jams that like I knew when he'd be going, I knew right when that fill would come, and I knew exactly when he would like, right when he'd come back into the beat or whatever it was, some turnaround, some moment where it was like, that makes kind of the crowd go like, ooh, that's a good band. Like they had that practice, they had that down. We would do that shit all the time on stage just from pure jamming so much together. And it was sick, and it was spooky to at least have had that experience for a few years where we had that type of insane chemistry on stage where we weren't the greatest band or anything or wrote the greatest songs, but we had so much fun playing live and playing anywhere we could. And it was a type of, what's the word here? What's the word I'm looking for here? Telekinesis? Something like that? It is very bizarre. Point is, West and Witt, two brothers, playing linebacker together. They've done it before. They've done it for years already. They've done it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Pun. Terrible pun there. They have a chance now to do this for a whole year. While also West is not going to be missing out on any potential postseason play this season. That is a colossal win for the Weeks family, for West, for Witt. We don't even realize we have another season and a half of this kid. We are so lucky to get to watch this guy playing and developing and excelling like he is. And it's just ridiculous that it took Matt House how long to figure out how good this kid was. He never figured it out. He never understood it. He kept that kid on the bench, and it lost us games. Here's a stat for you. LSU are 7-0 when Whit Weeks starts games. 7-0 when Whit Weeks starts games. That's a stat we cultivated and found out. Yes, 7-0 when Whit Weeks starts. Incredible. No coincidence either. Whit Weeks gets taken out of that game for the targeting. We do not win that game. And so this move with West really helps out LSU's depth. You have to look ahead to 2025. You have to see that offensive line, we're going to lose some guys. On the edges, we're going to lose some guys. At linebacker with Penn, we're going to lose some guys. Major Burns is going to be gone. Sage Ryan, maybe, possibly. Zy Alexander as well. Zy Alexander, don't forget about him. He's a big-time shutdown corner. He's been balling. He's an absolute ass off. He's another guy who could be gone. So LSU really got to be careful here with roster management ahead of 2025 and make sure everything is taken care of. Every corner is prepared. Every corner, every nook and cranny of the roster is prepared for the long haul. Because 2024, I think LSU, as much as we might be successful in getting close to victory and contention with a championship and stuff like that, I think the lack of depth is going to come back to haunt us at some point. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's just like the freshmen are just going to ball out and make up for all of that, because it looks like that might be the case. Either way, LSU, Arkansas, coming up this Saturday, and we have some very interesting plans this Saturday. There is a player who I'm going to be seeing, and it's going to be epic, and it's going to be so much fun. We will be covering the Arkansas game completely, okay? But there's going to be a lot going on that is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime crazy thing going on Saturday night. And so we're going to be doing that as well. You're going to be seeing posts from us about that and information about what's going to be happening. It's still going to be part of our LSU Odyssey work. This is going to be something that I think everybody will be interested in seeing, even though it's not directly LSU is still very much connected to LSU in Louisiana, even though it'll be here. And since I can't be there, there's something that's going to be here. So I'm going to be checking that out while, we're going to, like, the LSU game is going to be over before this event even takes place. So we'll be more than covering that game and more than dialed in for you all for that game. But LSU Arkansas, always a bloodbath, always a crazy game. Get ready for that. Buckle up for that. And if you want more information on our breaking news that we just gave out about West Weeks and the red shirt, definitely go to LSUODYSSEY.com. Once again, we told you Kyle Parker was out for the season. He was. Once again, we told you CJ Daniels was not going to be playing against Ole Miss, while Brian Kelly was telling you all that he was practicing. And everyone was, he's gonna play. He's gonna play. You're wrong, Lon. Like, I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm not trying to be rude, but facts are facts. We've been right on quite a lot of stuff, and so when we're telling you something, I think you owe it to yourself at least to listen, see what we have to say, and then do some investigating yourself. See if we're right. See if we're wrong. And if we're wrong, call us out on it. If we're right, a like and a retweet and some support would be cool. But this is capitalism. Believe what you want, follow what you want to, engage with what you want to, be entertained by what you're entertained by, and let it go. Let it go all out. Either way, it's always go Tigers, and I'm very excited for this weekend. It's going to be crazy. There's going to be so much craziness going on, and it's going to be great to see these people again. So you'll be seeing that content, and you'll be seeing all the stuff we have from that, but we're going to have to keep that under wraps. There's also some more breaking news that we will be breaking in the next day or so as soon as we get that I dotted and T crossed. Just some more news that's a little unsettling coming out of LSU, but nothing that should destroy the team or something crazy. But just another oh god. So we'll be breaking that soon once we get that kind of cleared and figured out 100%, not just a little nugget of a great headline. I want to know every detail of what's going on and verify it and make sure it's 100% before we're putting it out there for you guys to consume. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody. And what's up, Chris? How you doing, my man? Paul Tarver says, congrats, Lon, on your gritty, not pretty analysis of LSU's overtime win, plus getting props from T-Bob and Hester yesterday on their show. Thank you, Paul. That was insane, man. I'm driving to work, and I hear that. I'm literally driving to work, just like putting on OTB like I do all the time. Sometimes things are going so fast that I forget to like put on the phone, or I'm listening to some CD in the car and I don't really think of it. But usually once I get settled at work, I put on Off the Bench and kind of look at the cameras and make sure everything on the site is good while I have OTB on in the background, And so I'm kind of watching it, listening, but then not able to watch it with my eyes, but still dialed in. And I'm driving and I hear them just talking about the Ole Miss game. And I'm like, this is going to be good. Let's get into it. I love their analysis. Let's get into it. And suddenly I hear my name, like, shout out to our guy, Lau. And I was like, what the heck is this? And they've done this many times. They have been so good to LSU Odyssey, more than any other institution off the bench. T-Bob, Jacob Hester, they have been so supportive and encouraging of our stuff, and have been, I think, I can't even count how many times they've put our stuff on their show. It's been at least 10, 11 at this point. I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm saying that I am so grateful that they've done that, because we're not a big name. We don't work for the Advocate. We don't work for Go 24/7. We don't work for On3. We don't have a journalism degree. We don't have all of this glitter and gold and a crown around us. And, we don't have all these people completely, on our payroll, making us look good. We don't have a team. We don't have any of that stuff, right? We just have a brand and a show and a pen and a laptop, and we go for it. And so I just think it's incredible and surreal for someone who's a fan of that show as well. Like I was watching that show in the 2019 season, the 2018 season, and I'm like, I didn't really start watching LSU media or consuming LSU media around LSU outside of just the national stuff, because I'm from Utah. You got to remember that. I didn't start watching the local Baton Rouge LSU media stuff until I think 2018, 2019. Okay. And because I just never really, like, I would think what I thought about the games and go on. But as I was starting to actually write and cover their games, I wanted to listen to all sides and figure out every single thing, their opinions of all of it. And T-Bob, Jacob Hester, those type of people, Jordy, who was originally on there, Moscona, Jacques Doucet, I of course was like, yes, but T-Bob really, more than anybody, T-Bob has been the first who was extremely supportive. He retweeted some article we wrote about Joe Burrow during the Oklahoma game, where Joe Burrow just destroyed Oklahoma. And we wrote some article that was kind of crazy. And T-Bob, I think, really liked it and retweeted it and quoted it and stuff like that. And that kind of started it, where he's been extremely supportive, extremely in our corner. He's been amazing. And Jacob as well. Meeting him in Vegas was one of the coolest things ever as an LSU fan, growing up watching Jacob Hester and idolizing him, taking Florida's soul. Like, that guy's a dog, taking Ohio State's soul. Jacob Hester is the coolest dude. And he's also incredible in the media business too. Like, that guy deserves the love in the media business. So to get respect, appreciation in any way, shape, or form is huge and amazing, and I'm grateful for it. And I don't quite totally deserve it, but I'll take it. But to get that from those guys, but also to literally have the writings that we do used to kind of encapsulate what was one of the craziest games in LSU history, on one of the biggest, morning shows in the South by, some of the best SEC media voices and figures in America. That you can't. For me, it's just surreal. I'm a security guard with a dream, and so people like that backing your stuff and giving you some time like that—that's just insane. I'm tickled, and frankly, I love those guys. They know how I feel about them. I'm in contact with those guys, and there's something that is definitely coming very soon that I just cannot wait to show you guys as well. So there's like 5-6 things in the works. There's probably even more than that. There's always these things in the works, and we drop them one by one by one by one, sometimes 2 by 3 by 4 by 5. So thanks, Paul. I just as a fan of their show, watching the show, it is just kind of surreal. of course, my people at work are getting all kind of giving me stares like, oh, he's doing this show. So I've got to probably sign off here in a sec. Thanks, man. I think I do the writing better than I do the speaking, but I'm trying to do both, kind of mix the two together. Mike Prude says, we can't overlook Arkansas Saturday. Always a close game. Go Tigers. So that's what I've been saying, man. You got to rewind the show to the beginning, Mike. I don't know if you heard us talking the Arkansas game. We're going to get way more into it. Like, this is barely even a preamble. This is really like kind of a bridge to that content, you know, to kind of tie it all up in a bow, you know. Oh, thanks, Chris. It's, I don't know, man. I have a feeling right now in life that things are just going how they should. That car that I drive should not have got me to Vegas. That car should have broken down in the middle of the desert. And somehow it didn't.
I don't think we're active to the panel.
That car should have broke down somewhere in the desert in Vegas, and I shouldn't have gotten there. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on that's just going our way, and it shouldn't, you know. And I think that's what happens when you work your ass off and just hope for the best and put everything in the right place to be successful and let the rest take care of itself. I've been trying too long to control everything, to force everything. I think now it's become to that point where it's hit. You know, I wrote that article sick as fuck, and I didn't even think it was that good when I pressed post. I really didn't. I didn't think it was good at all. I didn't think it made sense at all. And I found one typo right after I posted it and went and fixed it and was like, shit. And I kept rereading it, and it was like, I guess this is okay. So sometimes you're not even the best judge of yourself either. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But I got to sign off or else they're going to fire my ass. Peace, guys. We'll talk to you soon.